Sonic Frontiers Update 3 The Final Horizon was released on September 28 this year, and after recording 5 hours and a half of gameplay and finishing the new story, I will be describing my thoughts on this video. In an overall, I like this update, being my favorite one of the 3, and making Sonic Frontiers one of my favorite games, not to say my favorite, of the franchise. Let's start from the very beginning. The first thing we are to see in this new update is the story premise, where we start to see the changes to what we saw in the original ending. Sage has now come up with a new calculation that could drastically change the events of the story. Instead of having Amy, Knuckles, and Tails to sacrifice their physical forms to save Sonic, they 3 can actually help in the plot. I won't spoil if you haven't played it yet. If you did, you already know what I'm talking about, while Sonic, not to spoil, takes care of something else. And then here we go. We start playing as Amy, so Amy's gameplay is, in my opinion, the best of the 3 new characters, and, so far, the best way to play as her since a long time ago. She is quite fast, has a triple jump, and a glide that makes her great for platforming. There was this short delay on the controller, but it wasn't really a problem, just at the very beginning when I got used to it, but after that, Amy's controls were just fine. Next we get to play with Knuckles, though unlike Amy, Knuckles is probably the clumsiest and unresponsive character of them all. He feels heavy as hell. When gliding you feel that you don't have full control of the direction, and you may be saying, Knuckles isn't has always been at least slower and heavier than Sonic. Well, yeah, but not like this man. Anyway, I ran into many control and platforming issues when playing as Knuckles, and I did have fun, but I strongly believe that Knuckles could have been way better than it is. And to finish with a classic trio, Tails is way better than Knuckles, probably as good as Amy, though I found Tails a bit simpler and weaker. He makes me miss the homing attack a lot, but it is quite solid. The tornado from Sonic Adventure 2 is probably the best part of his gameplay, but aside from that everything is quite good. But I really got to say, Amy is the best of our favorite trio. Moving on to the next playable character, and with next I mean come back to Sonic, we are meant to ascend, again, 4 trial towers in order to get rid of Sonic's cyber corruption, and though Sonic is basically the exact same thing as the base game, the towers themselves are nothing compared to Ria's. In order to ascend the towers, there is a huge platforming level alongside them 4, but the level design used on these is nothing we have ever seen before. The most similar one could be either Unleashed Adventure Packs, or the update to platforming sections to get the new special Keko. This means the towers are not hard, but beyond hardcore platforming. You wanted a challenge, well here's your pointless. What makes them that hard? The design and the position of basically every object is placed there for you to go up if you do it correctly, or down if you don't. And if you are able to reach the top, there is a trial at the top of each tower that will make you rage quit the game if you don't have enough patience to come with a strategy to succeed. But what makes it worse is the inconsistency in the order of each tower's difficulty. When you finish the 4 towers, you will play back to Amy, Knuckles, and Tails to repeat the same process again, and once you're done with them, Sonic will be back to climb a 5th tower with the hardest trial. It will require you to defeat all the 3 titans, again, within 400 rings, with no reload, at level 1 for all your stats, and featuring the use of perfect parry, which in hard mode it only gives you a 1/5 of a second to parry. But before this day, there was no perfect parry, so none of the attacks were able to be parried that precisely, since the Titans always get out of footage when doing an attack. So, beating this trial, and the rest of the trials, is painful, but not just that, it is annoying. There has been this controversy of this update to have artificial difficulty, or inconsistent difficulty, and I agree with that. The way this is implemented into the game feels weird, and once you feel weird, you know for sure that this was not meant to be like this, and then you start getting frustrated because you know the reason you are stuck is not because you are making a mistake or missing something that is leading you to death. Is not your fault, it is literally the game's. And it was mostly this feeling that made many fans to just hate the entire update, because they were getting so frustrated, they felt this is an unfairly difficulty. I can find myself related to that. I only have 1 hour to record at least a descent part of the gameplay, and I have to upload it while it is still relevant, so I was trying to rush this broken difficulty, but of course, I couldn't, and I was getting frustrated during the gameplay. And getting frustrated like this was, for me, not fun. But I'm not saying this update was not fun at all, it is just this part of inconsistent difficulty that leaves me with a bad flavor about the update. The next thing we do is to fight the final boss, which at least for me, was get like insane. I enjoyed very much the cutscenes, and the new finale, which was way better than the original. but it didn't got rid of issues either. Sometimes the camera gets too low that I can't even see what's going on because of the trees, or sometimes there is absolutely no clue of what you have to do next to beat the end, and you again get stuck. But the final boss is the best thing this update has to offer, and the most enjoyable part of my experience. Now for the extra content aside from the main campaign, we have the new cyberspace levels, which I ended up not trying because I felt overwhelmed by the level design. That is mostly my issue, but for now I'm afraid to try even one level. I will do it, but later, I need to get ready for them before. Then we have the soundtrack. Amazing! The new characters, the new cyberspace, and the new final boss themes are perfection. In an overall, Sonic Frontiers has brought the proposal for the next decade of Sonic games, innovating with a gameplay style featuring open zones, platforming, linear gameplay, combat, and multiple playable characters. It is quite a solid proposal. Even though we couldn't get to see a polished product due to all the issues from the game that we all are concerned about, we can tell that the Sonic team is going the right direction, and if they work on a polished project next time, then it will be what Sonic Frontiers couldn't. I love the base game of Sonic Frontiers. I never asked for anything new. I even liked the original ending, no disappointments. But then I got 3 free updates, which was just perfect for me. The final Horizon really promised a lot of things, but unfortunately could not reach what we all expected. There were some unpolished features that messed up the experience, and disappointed many. It also disappointed me. But it is still a great project, and I really enjoyed playing it from beginning to end. Either if it failed or not. Sonic team has never tried to impress us like this in over a decade, and I really appreciate they wanted to make a better game once for all. Maybe they didn't get it like they always expected, but they tried. They tried to give us a brand new ambitious project and take it to be peak. And that's what I like the most of Sonic Frontiers and Update 3, the intention of the developers to give us an amazing experience. They failed this time, yeah, but they were so close. So Sonic team, please try it again. Even Frontiers could have been better, or couldn't reach expectations. You still were so close to get it, so try it again with a new project, maybe next time. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts of the new updated Sonic Frontiers in the comments. I'll be reading you. Subscribe if you didn't, like if you liked, and with no more to say, I shall be leaving. Peace.